Some of the phones are ringing. Give me your name real quick, sir.
Kurt Bynum.
And she's on the phone. And your name, sir?
Wes Sidnor.
Wes, good to see you. And your name, ma'am?
Robin Shaw.
All right, that's who is here in our studio, and WHS 11's Holden Kurwicki is here too. He's been looking at the local efforts. Once again, Holden, Kentuckiana always reaches out to help because we're no stranger to storms here, and people from Texas and around the country always help us.
Well, that's exactly right, Doug. And as these phones keep ringing, it truly shows that Kentuckiana really cares about our brothers and sisters in the Lone Star State. From food to clothing, even money, local groups are demonstrating that they are willing to help out those hurt by Harvey.
Since 1995, Lori Krause and Presbyterian Disaster Assistance have been there when disaster strikes to lend more than just a helping hand.
Money allows the affected community to bring resources to bear where they know they need them.
Utilizing their vast network of resources, Krause has teams headed to Texas as we speak to help those hurt by Harvey.
We were hoping they could go in Friday. It looks like Houston's still going to be unfolding. So we're in constant communication with the leadership there, and as soon as they're ready to receive us, that second team of 4 will go in.
But the Presbyterian Church isn't the only group locally answering the call for help.
Kelvin Sampson, through Twitter, issued a call to all basketball teams, high school, college, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, JUCO, anybody. And we jumped on it immediately with shirts, with gear, with shoes.
While Scotty Davenport and his team aren't physically able to be in Texas, he's using this Goodwill mission as a teaching tool.
Study the news and watch the attitude of those affected. You got people sleeping at their workplaces. You got people round the clock. Nobody's angry. They're not bad. They're all about helping others.
As rescue efforts pour into flooded areas, Davenport says these lessons taught by Harvey are something we can all learn from long after the water recedes.
This country who now can come together to rally behind that entire area of our country, not just Houston. And let's take it far beyond that, and let's continue to help others from one coast to the other.
And company-wide, TEGNA and WHAS are here to help those displaced by Harvey. We'll be taking your donations here at the Kentuckiana Cares Telethon until 6:30. The proceeds go directly to the American Red Cross. And Doug's here to tell us a little bit more about that.
That's right, Holden. We've already gotten Sandra McCoy from Mount Washington, Kentucky. Thank you so much, Sandra, one of our loyal viewers. $200 to the effort. That's what it's about, cash today. And Jennifer Adrios with the American Red Cross. Jennifer, we've had people call us. They want to send care packages, but you're saying it's cash, cash, cash. Why is that?
Right. It's important right now that people give dollars. That will allow us the flexibility to mobilize as we need to. Right now, you couldn't get things in there if you tried. We're having a hard time getting our people in there. So to think about what it would be like to ship things, we don't have anywhere to put them. The people don't have homes right now. So it just makes sense right now to support through cash and allow us that mobility.
Will this money go toward the Harvey effort or just help American Red Cross in general?
This is specifically for Hurricane Harvey relief, and we will honor the donor's intent to do that, so they can trust us to do that.
Folks from Louisville, American Red Cross going to be going down there. Any plans? What are you looking ahead to?
Yeah, we actually have about 40 of our volunteers and staff that are already deployed there. We've sent 4 of our emergency response vehicles. We have 5 in the state, and 4 of those have been sent.
Right now, let's toss it back to Doug and Rachel standing by in our phone bank. And guys, the generosity of our community, unbelievable once again.
So successful, Kent. We're now going to keep the phone lines open till 7. Carol Neely, Campbellsburg, Kentucky, $100. Thank you. And Jerry Milborn on Seton Brook Lane, $100 in Louisville. Thank you so much. I feel that we're going to have a big announcement coming up.
I know. We're going to give the total so far. It's only going to get bigger. We have the board chair for the American Red Cross. Go ahead and give us your name.
Manning Warren.
And then we're going to have you give us the total so far for right now.
Before I give the total, can I thank everyone in the community for their generosity? The people out in Texas are going to deeply appreciate what you've done.
And how much?
And thanks to all these volunteers.
Wonderful
here.
Volunteers, I agree.
So, all right. Our grand total thus far tonight at WHS is $32,400.
Very good.
That's worth hugging Rachel for.
I know, and I'll tell you what, and don't forget the phone line's now open until 7 o'clock.
On 11 at 11, a new total. Again, the line's open till 7. Thanks for joining us here at 6. See you tonight at 11. Chances are the heroin and opioid crisis has touched you or someone you know here in our city. In fact, Kentucky leads the nation in opioid deaths. In Jefferson County alone, the epidemic knows no bounds. 316 people dying from overdoses so far in 2017. And look at this map. It shows you where they lived. You can see the variety of neighborhoods. We're talking Shively, Okolona, PRP, Hazelwood, and Middletown. WHAS 11's Rachel Platt has been talking with a Louisville family, turning their tragedy into action. And she's joining us from our studio phone bank, where experts have been answering your questions all afternoon about addiction. And Rachel, what did you learn?
I'll tell you what, Doug, first of all, the questions that are being asked in here right now are very tough. Families in a whole lot of pain. We want to get those phones ringing again. 571-2345, 866-885-1848. And Doug, you mentioned that story. I've got to tell you, it was intensely private and very painful for this family to tell that story. It is Veronica's story. Her family sharing their stories so someone else can be saved from drugs, or saved thanks to their daughter's generosity.
Such a caring and giving person. She didn't have much. She didn't have much at all, but what she did have, if somebody asked her for it, she would give it.
A generous heart and a beautiful smile. This is how Veronica Jecker's parents want to remember her. The fun-loving daughter in that orange tank top, giggling with family, doing the electric slide in the backyard.
This is my favorite.
At 22 years old, Veronica was a young mother and head over heels about her daughter, Raylan. Veronica had a job at Ford, but she also had a secret, an addiction that began revealing itself to her parents about a year ago.
And I would have to call her 10, 15, 20 times to get her up in the mornings, to get her ready for it. I'm like, what is going on? Why are you not getting up? And of course, I always got excuse after excuse. And finally, she come clean and she said, Mom, I've got a problem.
Veronica coming clean about using pills, seeking treatment more than once. Her parents thought she had it under control. Did you ever say, are you back using?
I would ask her and she'd say, no, I'm clean. The girl that she was living with said, no, she's clean. And I guess part of me wanted to wholeheartedly believe that she was.
Yeah, Veronica was very good at hiding it. She would pick and choose the time she would come around us.
Veronica's addiction not completely evident to them while she was alive, but becoming crystal clear in her eventual death. Carrie and Jay getting that phone call every parent dreads. Their call came from the hospital.
They wouldn't tell me anything. I kept asking, is she okay? Is she alive? Is she breathing? They said, you just need to come here.
They thought Veronica was in rehab, but instead she was on life support. Her addiction to pills had turned to heroin, and she received a deadly batch.
They told us it was probably a combination of fentanyl, rat poison, and elephant tranquilizers.
Shocked by the discovery and shell-shocked by the grief of letting go. But in that goodbye, Veronica's generous heart had one final deed. Veronica may not have been able to save herself, but she did save 3 other people because of what she did right here. Veronica was an organ donor, and her final wishes would be honored. Her family told what was being donated at the hospital. The timing for them was divine intervention.
But the day they walked into the hospital and they told us that a kidney and a pancreas was staying here. Local, and other kidney was going to UK in Lexington, and liver was going to Tennessee. That's when we cried. We cried as hard there as we cried at her funeral or over top of her casket. But that was happy tears.
The daughter they lost to addiction and heartbreak, saving others. So it kind of brings us back full circle. When you said the sweet Veronica, you know, as the giving, this was kind of her last gift.
Yes, it was. She was a huge UK fan.
And how fitting, she says, that one of those recipients was at UK's hospital. Veronica's love of the big blue evident in the flowers from her funeral. Veronica's heart wasn't able to be donated, but it lives on in another way for her daughter and her mother. This bears really something special.
It is.
Tell me about it.
Anytime I want to hear Veronica or just think about her, the hospital, this is another thing that wonderful hospital gave us. It has her heartbeat in it. All you have to do is push the button, and that's her heartbeat.
Veronica's family, like so many, struggling with opioid addiction, not wanting their loved ones to be remembered for their demons, but for their beautiful smiles, and in Veronica's case, her final gifts. I would like to personally thank Carrie and Jay Parsley for their time and their courage to tell their daughter's story, and of course spreading education on organ donation as well as addiction. I think we can all learn lessons there. And when it comes to organ donations, there have been 14 organ donors so far this year in Kentucky based on overdoses. And Doug, just a few more minutes for this phone bank. We've got a lot of people on the phone right now.
That's it for sports. Right now, let's send it back to Doug and Rachel standing by at our phone bank. Hey, guys.
Thank you very much, Kent. And we've had such a strong reaction to people watching our newscast. A local mom sent us a message saying they found out their 22-year-old daughter was on heroin when she came home for Thanksgiving last November in obvious withdrawal. And she said, we're still at wit's end of what to do. We really need help.
And I'll tell you what, the phone calls they've been getting, I've been kind of listening to some of what they say. You can sense the pain, you can sense the struggle. Even had one person calling in saying that they were going to try and seek treatment because of this phone call. If we helped or saved one person tonight, this entire 2.5 hours, of course, has been more than worth it.
We are talking tonight about the Blue House on South 28th Street. It's a story I first told you about in March. The man who created this gift to young people is still stunned about what happened after that report. So we went back, and tonight you're going to see for yourself. The music is flowing with an upbeat tune in the Blue House in Louisville's Parkland neighborhood. But the one thing that hasn't been flowing here for 2 years, hot water.
The kids, we've been using hand sanitizer for everything.
In a place that teaches kids 6 to 17 years old.
Treat hand sanitizer.
That's right, something so simple, something we all take for granted. No hot water.
People use the restroom. We had bunches of hand sanitizer around.
But the funds just weren't there for a new hot water tank. The available money, every penny, instead focused on the 20-year mission here. Violin lessons in one of Louisville's toughest neighborhoods.
This is just another avenue to try to have another way out, another path, more positive path. You can warm up on this.
Our story in March showed you the dire situation with the 116-year-old home. Severe mold and cracks in the walls from years of rainy day leaks. Spaces too small to handle the growing interest in orchestra veteran Keith Cook's program, which wasn't just teaching music, but saving lives. Like Veen Thompson's 9 children who are graduates of the Blue House.
It kept them out of trouble, and it kept them focused, and it benefited them a whole lot.
Our story hit a nerve. The folks at GE saw that report and wondered, what could they do? So I picked up the phone on a Monday and called GE. 2 days later, take a look. Here it is. The company has donated a new water heater. And not just that, GE hired the plumbing company, Maupin Plumbing. Tom and Jim, go ahead and take it away. Total cost with installation, about $1,500, all paid by Appliance Park. Cook was thrilled. We called GE.
Okay.
And look what they showed up. That right there is your old water heater.
All right.
What do you think?
Good riddance.
Suddenly,
Yes. Keith, right? Yes.
the Blue House
We can still keep that one.
has been embraced
Yeah, maybe one unit upstairs.
by volunteers.
Okay. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
Repairs, a roofer, a new driveway. Here's $500. And donations, a 10-page list of checks from our first story.
We got Shelbyville, Kentucky, Floyd's Knobs, Blankenbaker Road, Crestwood.
So you got out of your car and you looked up and you said, it really is blue.
It is blue, and it is a bright blue.
Susan Collins of the East End came down to the Blue House in person to hand deliver her check of $1,000.
I think we can never invest too much in our children and people, adults who care and love children and want to nurture and guide them. You want to support those people, and I think he's that kind of man.
They just broke it in and smashed the whole door.
Ted Champion and a group of volunteers
We can fix all the walls.
from Christ Church United Methodist on Brownsboro Road have repaired windows, installed a security door, and are tackling this next.
And you can see the damage above the bathroom door. We're going to fix that.
They can fix the walls thanks to roofer Tom O'Banion. He cut Keith Cook a deal, installing gutters and stopping the leaks on the lower section of the roof.
But you can see they raise up. The nails are not holding anything.
But there's 4 layers of roofing on the house, right down to the original wooden shingles. O'Banion did the crucial patchwork, but the entire roof needs replacing.
Shingles are missing right here. There's a hole right there in the roof that you can actually stick your finger down through into the attic.
From the roof to the driveway. The driveway, created 116 years ago, couldn't fit any cars.
I don't know if it was for horses years ago.
Luke Hare of Champion Waterproofing heard about the need here, and he donated his time and equipment to shore up this wall, concrete a short section of the driveway, and put down gravel.
The problem he was having was people were parking in front of his house when he was trying to operate his business. They didn't realize he was working.
He's insistent that the music program he created must stay in West Louisville.
Okay.
Despite the fact they've had to shelter at the sound of gunshots in the past, people send him notes along with their checks.
I applaud you for what you are doing for these young children. Hope to give more in the future.
Shoring up the future of this oasis means getting the foundation straight.
Everything underneath here is brand new wood framing. The whole and that window is new.
The roofer stopped the leaks for now. The hot water is flowing. And that fading blue holding it all up?
In fact, one of the contributions is a couple $100, and the woman said that perhaps this will buy you some more cans of blue paint.
But when it comes down to it, the 65-year-old maestro heading this young orchestra cares most when he sees a young protege suddenly come alive. He's making a difference, even as the Blue House groans for help.
Oh, yes, definitely. Bravo, Blue House.
And our one story in March raised $22,000 in checks from you. Despite all that amazing generosity, that roof is still the big problem. If Cook spends everything that's been donated on that roof, he'll have little left over to spend on music scholarships and buying violins for those who can't afford them. He does not take a salary. If you'd like to help out Keith Cook and his program and these young musicians, you can send checks to West Tech. That's the business name of the Blue House, 1316 South 28th Street, Louisville, Kentucky, 40211. As I hope I've shown you tonight, it is money well spent. Right here, a special Facebook Live presentation from WHAS 11. We're going to be bringing you the opportunity to talk to the man who created the Blue House, the trailblazing music program in West Louisville. As we showed you this week, the 116-year-old Blue home that serves as the classroom for the young musicians has been falling apart. After our first story, many of you sent orchestra veteran Keith Cook checks to help out. GE donated a water heater. There it is. Tonight at 7 on our WHAS 11 News Facebook page, your chance to talk to Cook and one of his students, 9-year-old violin protege Mark Woods Jr. Learn the secret behind Cook's success. He believes it's more than music. The Blue House Revival, as we're calling it, on our Facebook page. See you tonight at 7.
I'm Juliana Valencia, joined by Crusade CEO Don Lee. Very happy to be here today.
We are so glad you're here, Juliana, because this is your first Crusade.
Yes, and I'm happy to be kicking it off.
You're kicking it off. And one of the traditions of the Crusade is to always kick it off with the Pledge of Allegiance here in Ballardsville. And so that's how we're going to get started. But I know these kids would love to introduce themselves to you first.
They would. So we're going to give them a special introduction. So we're going to start with, was it Ella? Ella, what's your first and last name?
My name is Ella Knight.
Awesome. All right. What is your name?
Brennan Patterson.
Your name?
Trey Curry.
Emma Durbin.
Sarah Jimenez.
Sydney Caranto. Kendra. Torres.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kendra Torres. And all of these children are going to help me kick off the Crusade, WHAS Crusade, with a special Pledge of Allegiance. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 64th Annual WHAS Crusade for Children. Tonight, from the Kentucky Center's Baumart Theater, you'll be entertained by the true variety of talent that Kentucky and Indiana have to offer. We begin with a rousing tradition that kicks off this evening in style. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Diane Moore Dancers.
This weekend, this is a big family reunion for everybody around here. Everyone worked so tirelessly for the crusade. We're talking about firefighters and businesses and the people in our area who collect throughout the entire year. And then on the first weekend in June, we all sort of come together and have our little family get together and count up everyone's efforts to help children with special needs.
Here's to the folks at Papa John's and the Greater Clark County Schools. Greenway shredding and recycling and the folks at Radio 2. Clark Memorial Hospital and Baptist Hospital East Hall. Working hard to help the kids on the crusade Cannonball.
So
right.
Hopefully we got everybody.
That person you just saw on the top of your truck on the left is Heather Fontaine,
awesome.
She came on the air at 11:30 last night. She's still at it.
Well,
that's her writing on the front of your truck.
Looks like she's. And by the way, that's a brand new truck we just put in service 2 weeks ago.
All right.
It's an awesome new look for McMahon. It still has the traditional look of the white trucks, but it's got kind of a red top.
There's Heather on the left.
Yeah. She looks like she's a natural. Maybe we should recruit her, get her to come out and be part of the fire department. So I'm going to go ahead and read some checks, some donations. As I mentioned, our checks are very strong. It's a big part of what we do. So without these folks making it possible, we wouldn't be able to deliver the kind of money that we do. First of all, I'd like to thank Kiana Charities, Inc. It's the Kiana Car Club. That's an antique auto club that they have a swap meet every year. They gave $12,500. I'd also like to recognize William Holton and Mariah Ogilvie. In memory of William K. Holton, they donated $10,000. Wow. That is an amazing donation.
Incredible.
Carl Casper donated $5,400. They came out yesterday to the roadblock and presented that. I thought that was really neat as well.
For all those years of shows.
That's right. And then also William Holton and Mariah Ogilvie, $2,000 in memory of Joseph Johnson, who's our former chief who died last year from cancer. Hikes Point Optimist Club, $2,000. The Louisville Lodge 8 BPO Elks Club, $1,800. Brownsboro Hardware, $1,750. Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Pankey Sr., $1,500.
Thanks to all of you. This is very exciting. We love getting to do this together so we can all chant the total together when it pops up on the board. Can everybody shout it out loud when we reveal the numbers here? Are you ready?
Are we ready?
For the 64th WHAS Crusade for Children, our total so far is $5,463,292.77. Come on!
That is amazing. You were on TV.
Good stuff. Way to go, everybody. Again, every one of those dollars is a miracle and an offering from people that give their heart and soul and pour it out every year. Everybody's got a story that touches them, connects them to the Crusade for Children. So we appreciate whatever you've done to help us in any capacity, whether it's donating or giving us service time. It's greatly appreciated. This is what makes our community so wonderful every year.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about tough times that have been in our community lately, but I think this is really a galvanizing force when it comes to the crusade with really community and bringing everybody together.
Absolutely, and we could not do it without Terry and Rachel. We are so fortunate. So
we feel, hey, thank you for asking us back.
Now we have to sing God Bless It, the traditional close. Traditional close.
All right, everybody, we ready?
Mike Schmidt could do this. He can take my job. He can do it. What's up, Chief? Who's ready to sing?
All right, here we go.
God bless America, land that I love.
All right, the longtime CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kentucky, Anna, Jerry Swinton. We have got the big total to reveal. Okay, everybody, a drum roll, and 3, 2, 1. This year's total for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
We have raised at least $15,000, but you know, we're still taking calls. We're still on the phones. I keep having to change this. It's great.
All right, $15,000. COSAIR Charities giving $10,000 as well.
Is the leader of Mindful Movement. It's a classroom with the stress of academics, the chaos of the hallways. Everything is left behind.
This class slows everything down. It acknowledges that we all have some really strong emotions and that we can be in control of those emotions, and we can not allow them to be big distractions for our learning day.
It's part of a school-wide effort at compassion and self-control, and Megan Clem is the foundation of the effort.
Working with the students, teaching them about emotions, that emotions are okay, but how we handle emotions, what coping skills we use for those emotions, and teaching them the respect for themselves as well as others.
And because of the success of the compassionate effort, the principal nominated Megan Clem Mattingly for the Excel Award. The $1,000 teacher grant from LG&E KU can purchase, more yoga mats. And the work in this classroom will soon lead to more academic success in reading, math, and science.
And so if we can help them process those emotions, to take in a deep breath when they're getting frustrated, calm down, and stay focused, and even through really strong distractions, then we open up a world for them that allows them to learn.
And it's a program that has been so successful that an Excel Award-winning teacher has been duplicated.
The program has been so valuable, and we've seen such positive results that this year we added a second classroom. So we do actually have a second teacher teaching the Compassionate School curriculum this year, Ms. Johnson.
And so there was emotion today at Cane Run, tears of happiness for Megan Clem Mattingly. But otherwise, things stayed very calm.
Well, even becoming a schoolteacher was a challenge for Megan. She struggled with dyslexia as a child, and at her very first day as a schoolteacher, she almost quit, called her mother in tears. But today, it was a time to relax and be at peace with the Excel Award. Gary Rodemeyer, WHAS 11 News.
At this Center of Hope, every day is different. Every family's story is unique.
Sister Visitor Center is, unfortunately, one of the best kept secrets in town.
We are opening the doors to the center to show you all it has to offer and how you can help.
We're an emergency crisis center here in the West End.
They offer clothes, diapers, assistance with rent and utility bills, and food. When we discovered Sister Visitor Center, we wanted to give back. We decided to donate groceries to one of their families for a Thanksgiving meal.
We have a bunch of food that we would love to give for you and your family to have for Thanksgiving. Okay. Would you like to have it? Yes. Would that be helpful to you guys? Yes. We've got a turkey, we've got potatoes.
We met Carlina Tandy and her daughter Rylan, and we're happy to help.
Me and my family are going through a really hard time, probably the hardest time I've ever went through in my life with my 1-year-old. We're trying really hard, to just survive every day, and simple things like this mean more than you'll ever know. I have a blessed Thanksgiving, and you too. Y'all blessed me, and thank you so much.
But we also met Monica.
We have a 21-pound turkey here.
Wow, it won't be no leftovers, ma'am.
Toppings for the green bean casserole.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And stuffing. Got cranberry sauce.
She has a large family with lots of grandkids.
I never thought we'd meet like this, but this is a good meet. No. Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you.
Those with sister visitors say this snapshot of giving back is what it's all about.
It's great to be able to offer the help that people need.
Their mission statement says it all, providing help and offering hope. What a great organization. Their Sister Visitor Center accepts donations weekdays 8:45 until 4 p.m. They're asking for new clothing items and new toys this time of year. They're hoping to give families a little something extra special this holiday season.
This Christmas, about 84 children in Kentuckiana will have a bed to call their own after 2 separate builds over the weekend. Metro United Way built 54 for children in Greater Clark County. And for the second year in a row, First Christian Church in Louisville held a build for children in Jefferson County Public Schools.
Down below in the church gym, a different kind of team. 6 teams with lumber and drills in hand, ready to build beds. Children and adults volunteering their time, saying this is the perfect way to spread holiday cheer to someone who really needs it. Just ask Pollux.
It's really good to have kids to have sleep and have an education.
But thousands of children in Jefferson County Public Schools don't have one. Ben Langley with JCPS Support Services says the numbers can be overwhelming.
So you got to break it down, and if we can provide one bed, that is one child that is off the floor. So 30 beds is amazing. That's 30 children that will have a bed this Christmas. So this is good work. It's life-giving work. So this is good.
And with the ring of a cowbell, the signal that a bed is complete. This one, the first of 30 to be completed. Each bed coming with 7 slats to support the mattress, and each slat with messages of support and encouragement, or just a picture drawn with love from a little girl. Each child also getting one of these bags being assembled, complete with a pillow, sheets, a book, blanket, and a stuffed animal. This year, Christ Church United Methodist joined the build with First Christian. Patty Groot brought her 2 grandchildren.
We want to be able to do more things like this, and we don't ever want to compete. We want to build on what is already there, and this church has a wonderful thing going, and we want to be a part of it.
Did you have fun today?
I've had a lot of fun.
How about you?
I've had a lot of fun too.
For Rachel Lafferty and Lauren Smith, 'tis the season of giving, and building a bed for a child who doesn't have one is as good as it gets.
Cool to see that it's going to people in our community, and I know some people from JCPS, so it's cool to help out. I went to school all my life in Jefferson County Public Schools and had no clue there were that many people having issues. I was way too privileged and had no clue of it.
The build comes with many generous partners, including Harold McDaniel from KI Lumber, and generous volunteers like Carolyn Riggs, who helps with the city Build-A-Bed each spring.
So heartwarming to know that children are getting beds, and just from a little bit of effort on our part.
And it keeps bringing you back.
It does, it does. It's probably the most fun thing that I do all year long.
And Build-A-Bed is a good example of our Do Something campaign here at WHAS 11. I wrote about it in December's issue of Today's Woman magazine on stands right now. That issue all about giving back and wonderful examples of easy and fun ways to do it.
This is year number 6. WHAS 11 so proud as we kicked off the first ever Give a Day telethon here, and Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher is joining us. Let's give you those numbers, 866-885-1848. That's a toll-free number from anywhere in the Kentucky region, and 502-571-2345. Of course, the local numbers to call. People have been calling in since we've been on the air at 4 o'clock. And Mayor, of course, we've been through so much. I think back to just June when Muhammad Ali died. And I've already had people saying that they're going to volunteer in the name of Officer Nick Rodman. Of course, you were part of that ceremony yesterday, the funeral. Well, explain to people what Give a Day really is. We're not asking for money.
No, we're asking for time and compassion. And I think Muhammad's passing last June, and certainly Nick Rodman's passing, you see the way the community comes together. It's who we are as Louisvillians. We're filled with kindness and love and compassion. Compassion is one of our city values. And what that means is just respect for citizens so their human potential is flourishing. So everybody can help out some way. So Give a Day is about volunteering your time for a project that you have going on, or your company, or your scout troop, or going to our website, mygiveaday.com. There's 150 projects we put up there for today where people could say, I'm free Tuesday afternoon from 2 to 5. Sign us up.
And that's where you'll sign up. Again, mygiveaday.com. And we're talking about what kind of projects?
It can be everything from like big cleanups. We have big cleanups planned with Brightside, a project called Clean Lou and Shawnee, Smoketown, Victory Park, etc. So big cleanups. We could be Build-A-Bed. We build beds for kids that don't have beds in the community. We do that through JCPS. So there's all kind of ways that people can help out. And it could be 1 hour, or you could volunteer all week like my mom does.
Oh, like your mom does. I know your parents are both very involved. And we've had a lot of people from the Portland neighborhood talking about Officer Rodman, how they've adopted him as a son of theirs. And, of course, they loved him there so much, and are talking about volunteer efforts there.
No, that's fantastic. You know what I say, everybody in the community every day should be able to do an act of compassion and learn something. If you do that, it really adds up over time. And that's part of kind of the goal of our city, is to have people helping each other. It doesn't cost anything.
All right. From Good Morning Kentuckiana, Juliana Valencia is here. And Juliana, you're handling the social media end of this, so important to the mayor.
I am, and aside from calling in, you can use the hashtag WHAS11 Give a Day to let us know how you are acting, what your acts of compassion is, and how you are giving your time for Mayor's Give a Week. I'm standing by. We're on Facebook Live right now with WHAS11, as well as I'm checking your tweets and on Facebook to see how you are giving your time. We're getting in those calls right now.
Spring tradition here in Louisville, and for the 6th year, WHAS11 is proud to be bringing you the Mayor's Give a Day Telethon about the week of service that's coming up in April.
And now in its 6th year, WHAS11 has been backing it since year 1.
And WHAS11's Rachel Platt has now moved into our telethon studio with one of the organizations spreading compassion here in Louisville. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Doug and Kayla, and you know it. We're talking about Build-A-Bed, and this is a program that is close to my heart. And we have a partnership that happened just by all of us kind of meeting and talking, and it can happen if you do something. Kosare Charities, JCPS, and you helped fund, this is Randy Coe, 110 beds, and that really kicks off the Mayor's Week of Service.
We're very excited about it. Look forward to do even more.
Well, we appreciate that. And Ben, and we've got John Auslander Price with us. You all will help build those beds, and you are always looking for people to help.
We most certainly are. The need is overwhelming in our community, and we do have a very generous community, and we're hoping that our community will contact us and let us know if they want to do a build, and we can certainly connect them up with the right children.
And this is going to happen at Mazik, I think, on the 15th. What does it mean to you? You've been there when I've been there when you've been delivering beds. What it means to you?
It means everything. You know, often we walk in houses with nothing, and so to be able to provide a bed for a child that needs it is just priceless.
And think about that need. More than 3,000 children in our community.
We must step forward as African American males to show the right role model and start to give back to our younger group. And that's one of the reasons that I started to facilitate this effort. I went out and recruited Butch Beard, who was also in the documentary with NBA TV, to help bring the need and bring the attention back to the community that we are so focused, Derek, on the upper end. We're so focused on the one and doneers, the University of Louisville players, that we're forgetting the masses. And we have to start to educate the masses, which is the key, through athletics. It has absolutely nothing to do with if we're good, if they're good basketball players, but we want to make sure that they're good people, tax-paying people when they grow up and have an understanding of what is, just like the Mayor's Giveaway today, the Mayor's Give Service, being compassionate to your neighbor and understanding that you're only as good as the person standing next to you, and that's what we have to correct.
And it's important for these young men to realize that not all of them will make it to the NBA, so they have to have other things to concentrate on, and you want to make sure that they're doing that with this service.
Derek, that is the misconception. They're not going to make it to the NBA. And if they are going to make it to them, I always tell people, and I want everyone to understand this, there's parents that are aspiring for their kids to be professional.
Before we give you the final total, here's the mayor with a great story we just learned. Mayor?
Well, not everybody can get out and do something. So a lady just called in and said, I can't get out of the house, but is it okay if I pray for you guys? And she wanted to know if her prayer could be reported as volunteers hours, and I said, absolutely, ma'am, I appreciate that.
And we need prayers with all the storms around today, but it hasn't stopped another great Give a Day initiative. And now here's the grand total from the mayor of the volunteers who have called. What do we have with all these storms around?
Well, we're just getting started, obviously, but it's been a great day for us here. Thanks to you guys for this telethon. So we've had almost 3,000.
Where's the check?
3,000 people say, I'm going to help this community. That's pretty darn good.
That's a great start to the Mayor's Give a Day Week. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Derek, and everybody here as the WHAS family once again has come through in between the thunderstorms, and we'll be back here on 11 at 11 to bring you that storm team coverage. Good night, everybody.
Day 3, and we're headed to Indiana.
My home state. Excited to take you up north, sir.
Our first stop, we're going to try out what sounds like a pretty cool museum. We're at the Freeman Army Airfield Museum, which highlights the 4,000 men that were trained to fly here. One of the coolest things I found so far is this map. This was a flight planning map for the cadets, and it was in the base of operations, but to get it here to the museum, they tried to get it off the wall. It wouldn't come, so they just moved the whole wall here.
If families bring their kids here, they can learn a little something about what keeps our country free these days.
After the war, the airfield was repurposed to study foreign and enemy aircraft. Those planes eventually got
broken up by parts. Those parts went into the ground around Seymour, and just a couple decades later, people got curious, started digging them back up, and that's what you see in the museum today.
Admission is free, parking is free. What don't you understand about free?
You heard the man. This museum is free. So we just got done with the museum.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff for World War II buffs especially, and something that you just wouldn't expect to find in Seymour, Indiana.
So we're continuing our day. Where are we off to next?
We're going to our detour of the day, which is the gravesite of the first American train robber, so let's see if we can find it. Well, we found it, and did you know this sign says that the first train robbery in the entire world happened right here in Seymour?
A group of brothers, the Reno brothers, supposedly did it, and they're buried here. We're going to go check out their graves.
Check that off the bucket list.
Absolutely. If you want to have the most random fun fact in the entire world to brag about, we found it.
And now that we have that under our belts, we're heading to Columbus, Indiana to find some food. And we've made our way to Sahara Coast. It's an ice cream parlor that first opened in 1900, and today it's stuck in time. You can still come in here, sit next to the original marble countertops, and grab an ice cream from one of their soda jerks here, but they do tell me they aren't actually jerks.
It's a happy place. How many places can you walk in and just sit at a turn-of-the-century soda bar and just have a banana split?
Even the process of the drinks dates back to the 1900s. When you come in here, you can watch the soda jerk make your drink right in front of you.
We're getting ready to try a Gom cheeseburger. It's been a specialty here for decades.
Absolutely. It's pretty similar to a Sloppy Joe, so sometimes we're told people call it the Gom cheeseburger.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay. You're not supposed to be like polite with this, right?
No, never.
So good. I think it's just good cheeseburger, not Gom.
Delicious.
Cheers.
Cheers. We saved a little bit of room for dessert. We have an ice cream soda and a banana split.
What if I just drink the whole thing? Would that be okay?
It's fine, this is mine. To dine back in time at Sahara Coast, it'll cost your family for around $40.
We just wrapped up at Sahara Coast. Now we're going to go down the block to the Children's Museum to work off all that fabulous food. We've made our way to the Kids Commons Children's Museum. Check this out. You can plan your own city using inspiration from all the cool local architecture that Columbus is famous for. Just one of the many, many things you can do here.
Every floor has something new to explore, so you could spend quite a few hours here, leave, come back, and enjoy several different visits in one day.
Having so much fun learning about nature. Bang, 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 bang.
Experience culture hands-on.
Have so much fun making art.
Science through bubbles.
You can even learn about plumbing by getting flushed away. Getting flushed out's exhausting after a day here. Your kids are sure to go right to bed.
If you want to take your family through Kids Commons, you're looking at an average of $28. That brings today's total to $68 and means plenty of extra money for souvenirs.
So day 3 overall success, some history, a lot of fun, and some really good sweets.
Oh, amazing ice cream. I'm in heaven still on a sugar crush.
Yeah, definitely try out this road trip, day 3.
We have a team of wonderful volunteers who have been helping us out this afternoon. Are going to be here until 6:30 accepting your calls and your wonderful donations to the Chuck Olmstead Fund. You can also go to chuckolmsteadfund.com for your donation as well. And joining me, you see right beside me, a very dear friend to us here at WHAS 11. This is Candy Olmstead, who always is gracious with her time with us. Just tell us how impactful this particular Memorial Fund has been to our community.
It has been so exciting to think that we have saved at least one life every year for the last 8 years. And I don't know how many other nonprofits can say that. We're a poor nonprofit, but we always seem to be able to have this screening each year. So I ask everybody in Louisville, please, whatever you can give in order to save some lives. If you have seen the videos that have been going across the screen, we had saved several, and they have been on. And then we have another young lady here today who will be speaking about being saved from having an aneurysm. It is a deadly killer. At least people now are getting to know the symptoms of an aneurysm, what they need to do, and where they need to go.
And we were just watching some video a couple of seconds ago of you and April Miller, who had been watching this telethon last year, had been reluctant to go to the doctor. something pushed her. She finally went, and they found 2 aneurysms and able to save her life. What was that like, meeting her and hearing her story?
Well, you know, she came at the very end. In fact, everybody was saying, well, we really want to go home now because I have such wonderful volunteers. I don't pay anyone because we give all the money back to the community. That's what it's all about. We're trying to save people's lives. And she came in, and she didn't look like she was well. You know, and she said, if I could just sit down. I said, well, fine, come right in and sit down. She said, you think I could have an MRI? I said, did you fill out the form? And she had it. And then we spoke. She said, please let me go. And I said, sure, I will. And I didn't hear from her again until she called me and thanked me for having this nonprofit, and that it saved her life.
Look at that smile sitting next to Charlene Shanklin, and Aaliyah got $100 from, and then Dawn Elliott giving $200. So we're getting ready now for the big total, and folks, we're going to have a nice round of applause. Candy Olmstead, give us this year's total for the Memorial Telethon.
We're going to say $2,500 at this point.
Woohoo! 2,000.
And I thank you, Louisville, so much. We're going to save some more lives this year.
All right, they are still taking calls, 571-2345, 866-885-1848. You know a person is loved 8 years after their death. He still towers in this very building. We loved him. We named the street outside after him. We get to see his smiling face.
Yes. And I want to thank you so much for that, because you were really quite the person in order to get the street renamed, and I always thank you because you were there.
Give me a big kiss. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Kentuckiana. ABC's World News Tonight is coming up, and I'll see you right here on 11/11. Thanks for your generosity.
If you are looking for a way to give this holiday season, we have it. Jamon Brown, who is a former U of L player, a football player, and now currently with the LA Rams. He gathered together some of his former teammates and friends to help the homeless right here in Kentuckiana.
And we're calling it the 502 Step Up for the Holidays Telethon, happening right now in our studios. WHAS 11 Sports Director Kent Spencer's joining us now with some of the former players as we're raising money for the Homeless Coalition. And Kent,
we know this face.
The totals are going up so far. Good to hear it.
Absolutely. Since 4 o'clock, we have raised $3,200. We've got some amazing people in here right now working the phone lines. So pick up the phone, give us a call, and donate for an amazing cause. 571-2345 is one of the numbers. The other one, 866-885-1848. Make sure you call in and donate. I'm joined now by former U of L quarterback Chris Redman, who is now sporting his Super Bowl ring for the Baltimore Ravens. My friend, we just talked. It took me forever and a day to get used to a wedding ring. How in the world do you get used to this monstrosity?
Being a football fan my whole life, you get used to it pretty quick. You know, it was a dream of mine to be on that field, to play in a game like that in that atmosphere, and so it was definitely a blessing. I'm just happy to make my city proud, and I'm glad to hopefully have some more people in this city to continue on that tradition of good football players that come out of Louisville.
Obviously, Jamon Brown is a Fern Creek guy. Sure. He went to Louisville, played under Charlie Strong, and then Bobby Petrino his final year here. He's doing amazing things for the Los Angeles Rams right now. But when you are from this city and you go on to play for the University of Louisville, there's something about giving back to the community, and it really is a brotherhood for you guys over the years, even though you played in a different era than Jamon. But you see something like this, you want to help and give back as well.
You sure do. It's like a brotherhood. Anytime you have guys that are from the city, you follow them, you pull for them, you almost become like brothers. And so anytime you get an opportunity to help out not only the community but your buddies around town, I think you need to use that platform to whatever way you can, and that's what I try to do.
We've been talking about a lot of U of L football players. Let's bring in some basketball legendary guys here now, and I'll be honest, Doug, I'm standing on probably about 2 feet of stairs right now just so we can be eye to eye with Luke Whitehead.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Blessed.
It is great to see you here, but for you, how great does it feel to be a part of this mission and to see so many people helping out?
It's very important, especially now that the holidays are coming around, to try to give back in whatever way you can. It's really what it's all about.
And when you hear the numbers of so many children and youth in homelessness, how does that hit you?
It's powerful because, a lot of us were blessed with a roof over our heads, and we didn't even think about where our next meal would come from or having a roof over our heads. So this is something that's just very important. It's sad, but it's a chance for us to really help change people's lives.
Let's toss it back to Doug Proffitt standing up and our 502 Step Up phone bank. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Kent, well, I'll let you know that this good-looking group here is going to be here for right after 6:30. They're going to stay in our studio because it's been so successful. The number's 571-2345, 866-885-1848 to make your donation to help the homeless, specifically the large number of young people who are homeless in our community, more than 800 in Jefferson County. Larry Mason just gave $100. Thank you very much, Larry. Danny Mosby here with the Jim Brown Foundation. Now, we had 5,000 coming in from who gave that money again?
Super Bowl 39 MVP Deion Branch, the Bobby Petrino Family Foundation, Lorenzo Malden.
Now we had the phone calls come in. Give the combined total.
Yes.
Here it is in 3, 2, and 1.
$93.80.
Woo! $9,380. Keep those phone calls coming right after this. I'll see you tonight at 11.
Using your helpful recommendations from all of you, our viewers at home, our Jonathan Wall and Sarah Wagner spent the last few weeks testing out those budget-friendly spots that are fun for the whole family. Today's trip takes us to Cave City.
Day 2, we're on our way to Cave City right now.
Yes,
beautiful day outside.
Gorgeous out. We're going to do a little bit of everything today. Yesterday focused a little bit more on our brains, learning some history. Today, not as much, right?
Quirky.
Yeah.
Today's all about quirky.
Our specialty, obviously.
Starting route to Cave City.
There, I see it.
Oh,
Kentucky Stonehenge.
beautiful.
We found it.
Stonehenge! Via Kentucky.
Selfie time. Sarah, Stonehenge in Kentucky.
Awesome. Loved it. Who knew?
I think you should bring a picnic lunch. It was really fun.
I know. I'm a big fan of statues.
Worth a detour.
For sure.
Head northeast on Maple Avenue.
We've made it to our first big stop in Cave City. We're at Big Mike's Rock Shop, and as you can see, there are quite a lot of those things here. You can get everything from more expensive, unique furniture pieces, or if you're a kid or a kid at heart like myself and Jonathan, you can fill those famous bags. I even found one for our boy.
We have rocks from all over the world. They're from Brazil, from Madagascar, from Australia, Russia, from pretty much everywhere.
We just made our way up the hill to Big Mike's Mystery House. I hear there's a lot of fun inside, so let's go check it out. So you can stand at an unusual angle in the middle of the room like this, or take these pool balls and watch them move uphill.
Fun fact about Team Wallwags, we are both pretty tall people.
But who's taller? Guess you'll never know. If your family wants to go to Big Mike's Mystery House, it'll cost only $8 for 4 people.
Right now, our holiday telethon is underway to help Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kentuckiana create more matches with mentors and local children. The matches cost money, and we just got a $10,000 challenge grant from COSAIR Charities into our studios. Can you match it? Donate or become a mentor. 571-2345, 866-885-1848 tonight.
If you are looking to support a local organization this holiday season that shapes the lives of young people in Kentuckiana, tonight we are the place for you. We are hosting our holiday telethon for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kentuckiana. They find mentors for children who come from single-family homes, those being raised by their grandparents, and children who just need a positive role model in their life. Our Doug Proffitt has moved over to our telethon studio, and why fundraising is so important, but you've already gotten some big donations, Doug.
Rachel, you're not going to believe it, but I'll give you a total here in just a second. But first, I want to thank Bradford Armbruster of Shelbyville. $200 here. He called 571-2345, 866-885-1848. And those are the numbers on your screen. Where does this money go? Well, it helps create the matches that you see. One match standing next to me. It costs $1,200 for Big Brothers Big Sisters to put one match together. They do the intensive background checks. Joining me is Keith Satterfield and his little brother, Stefan. And Keith, I'll start with you. Why did you get involved in this, and what was your goal to participate?
I got involved with my wife, Jana, who's with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and the main purpose for me getting involved was to make a difference in maybe someone's life down the road.
Do you think you've accomplished that?
I think I've made a difference in this young man's life. We really enjoy each other. We have a lot of fun, and I think he can contest to that.
Stefan, do you have a lot of fun when you guys get together? You see different things maybe go out in the community?
Yeah.
And what you were telling me, what's been the biggest thing he's done for you? How has he changed your life so far?
Because my grades,
How are your grades?
they good.
All right. As you can see on Stefan right there, he's wearing a pin. I want to tell you about that Big Brothers Big Sisters pin. It's a gorgeous pin, and if you give $50, you'll get a pin. All right, the longtime CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kentuckiana, Jerry Swinton. We have got the big total to reveal. Okay, everybody, a drum roll, and 3, 2, 1. This year's total for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
We have raised at least $15,000, but you know, we're still taking calls. We're still on the phones. I keep having to change this. It's great.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Rachel Platt.
Well, I'm Terry Miners. Hello, Rachel Platt.
It's a great night.
Indeed. Welcome to Building the Future. It's a special fundraising effort to ensure that the WHAS Crusade for Children continues well into the future.
So we got to keep those phone numbers coming in now, 571-2345. You can also call that toll-free number at 866-885-1848. Go online to www.whascrusade.org. Now, earlier on in this newscast, we did introduce you to one of the Crusade's founding members, and that would be Ralph Hansen. But now we want to introduce you to another one of those. He's known here as the last man standing, and that is Bob Pilkington. He was a writer, a producer, and director here at WHAS in the 1950s until he decided to retire. But really, when it came down to it, WHAS Crusade for Children is where his heart really was.
This was a thing that one did. I mean, there were things like this, I think, all over the country. But nobody expected them to be more than 1 or 2 years. Once we finished with the first 2 that weren't crusades, we went out on our own, and that was something that we knew just wasn't going to be here and gone. But nobody thought it was going to be for 65 years.
Jambalaya and a shoe fly pie and an anner pudding. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see old Sally Gooden.
Bob was the writer, director, and producer on Crusades from the beginning until he retired. And even after his retirement, he still returns each year to direct part of the Sunday afternoon telecast. He looks back fondly on Crusades past, but thinks that future Crusades are just as important.
We started this thing for those kids. And those are the reasons I've been there for 65 years. Those are the reasons that anybody has been there for any length of time at all. They get you. Once you've been with them for a couple of years, boy, they're right there. And you're right there. And you just can't, you really can't do without it. And the crusade comes around and you want to be a part of it. It's something that I wouldn't give up, and it's something that I would imagine most of the people that have any time at all with the crusade would want to give up.
Feeling we all share, Bob. Now, hey, you will probably see him with the Crusade coming up this coming year. He likes to keep his hand in all things Crusade and even comes in on Crusade Sunday to help direct the show.
In his confidence. They've done a great job of incorporating kind of his needs into regular classroom activities.
This is all to prepare Harrison for kindergarten, which is a couple of years away. Right now, he's just happy to run and play with his friends. And we do want to thank all of our folks from the Morning Brew crew who have been in there and all of our operators tonight. And we really appreciate everybody's help. We're going to get our whole Crusade family
Come on
in
there. There's Dawn. Dawn's been a Crusader since 1964 over there. All right, well, Dawn, we have one more big
We do, and it's an important one because Patricia Anderson, and this just happened on Thursday, so it's been kind of a recent addition here. She was a nurse at Ford, and she wanted to leave her IRA to the Crusade, so we have her IRA, but then there's still going to be her estate to settle. But this lady's IRA $962,990.
Wow.
And I think we're going to get the official tote board for the end of
Final
the
tote
evening.
board
if we
on there.
can
Look
show
at that. 1 million. Let's say it together. $1,583,360.66. Thank you all for helping the WHAS Crusade for Children Endowment. Fantastic. Thanks, team. Good night,
Happy
everybody.
holidays. Thank you all so much.